Hello, everyone, and welcome to my craft table. Um, this is Lovecraft with Cass, and I'm Cass, and I'm here in Australia, welcoming you to do some craft with me. Now, I'm just going to move a couple of things out of the way. I should have done that before I press record. Okay, sorry. Oh dear, things are falling. Table's a little cluttered because I'm starting different projects and I'm just jumping between stitching and crocheting and all over the place. ADHD spectrum brain, as anyone else can imagine. If you also have those things. Now, today I thought I would talk about spinning. Um, spinning yarn has been a huge part of my craft journey. Um, for the last 10 years, there was a whole chunk of those years where I was just exclusively spinning. Um, and yeah, when I have humongous tub and boxes of yarn that I've spun, still yet to be used. And a friend of mine is just starting on their spinning journey, and they're going with spindle spinning to start with, and I going through all my spinning stuff made me a bit nostalgic for wanting to do some spinning. So got out one of my support spindles. Now, I bought these when I was working, both hubby and I were working, and years ago, like it's probably been at least 2 years since I've picked up a spindle. So I would have had this at least 4 or 5 years ago. And this is handmade by an amazing human being called Paul, whose little home run business is called From the Lair of the Bearded Dragon. And I was going to say, does he have a website on here? No. I'll try. He and Charlie, who does the Five Arts Match Made in Heaven, do have a website. And I will remember to link it in the description box, because just their wares are exquisite, but they're very, very environmentally friendly. Charlie is a huge campaigner for protecting rare breeds and sustainable what's the word, harvesting of fiber and fleece, or whatever the product is. It's like so much work they do to make sure it is environmentally friendly and sustainable, and all the things of looking after our planet. And I've bought so much stuff from them over the last 10 years. Like Charlie sells fiber to spin, but also sells hand dyed skeins of yarn or different bases, and also will spin yarn too. I bought her tweed. She has a tweed selection of yarn that she spins, and it's based on the Princess Bride movie. So the colorways are all based on that, which I bought one of each to make myself a cardigan, and it's half done. bounce to other projects, as you can imagine. Um, uh, yeah, anyway, so it's a bit of a rattle. It's a shout out to Paul and Charlie and their amazing, beautiful work. And they have a website showing Charlie's fibre and yarns and Paul's handiwork with wood, which I actually should do a video of my spindle collection because I think definitely most of them, but I think maybe like all but two are not are from Paul, because he just handcrafts the most beautiful. Like, look at this, and because that's the um, I'm trying. How can I do this without like it's just beautiful. And this one, because he was just when he was building these, I'm just gonna have to lean through. Excuse my He was mucking around. Well, I don't know if it's mucking around my words. He was playing and made a little eggy of the inlay stones, and he wanted to see if he could lathe a leg, an egg, and he did. And so you could even sit it in there like that and have that as a little like almost like a little dragon eggy. But I've got a little cushion that I sit my eggy on. So yeah, Paul makes the most exquisite wooden piece. I mean, you can see. Look at this. Just and Charlie does the most exquisite fibre and yarn, and it's just ah. Anyway. So rambling aside, I I just realised this is either a top whirl or a bottom whirl. Right, because it's got there up there to hit. So I think it's. Oh, hang on, we can read the doodad. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can. I like that's a good thing with a spindle like this is you can literally choose which way you want it. Um, it was made with a particular can't speak particular type in mind. So here we've got the information for it. So it's a Tibetan support spindle. The wood is Peruvian walnut, and the whirl is reclaimed Australian red gum. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And the inlay is turquoise stone. It weighs 27 grams and it's got height, depth, number of batch, Paul signed it. Yep, hand turned by him. It's got care instructions here. And this is support spindle bowl, which is the reclaimed Australian red gum. So it's the same as the whirl. Natural edge. So that's just incredibly beautiful. And again matches with the turquoise stone inlay and care instructions as well. So this one could go either or. I would do it this way. Yeah, I think it's a bottom while. Because I mean, it tripped me up that it was like that, and I thought maybe that was to do your half hitch to thing, and you totally could, and you could use this as a drop spindle as well. So it's quite versatile, and I thought I would just jump on because, like I said, a friend of mine um, has started spinning journey, and I was very excited about that because, like I said, spinning has been huge. Like not the last couple of years because I haven't done any spinning in the last couple of years. Just mainly due to health reasons, being very low crafting. Well, that's not true. Last year was big because I made a quill. That's about all I did though, and a bit of artwork. I genuinely can't craft as much as I used to, which is a bit of a shame. So it's like, you know, one energy slot per day, and that has to go between family and friends and craft and life stuff. So craft kind of comes last a bit, which is a bit of a shame. But so it has been at least 2 years since I've picked up a spindle, and so I'm very rusty with it. But I just thought, grab a spindle, grab some fluff, and just do a little bit of spinning. And I'm all enthused and inspired as like I was going through all my collection of spindles, which I had about 30 at one point. I had um 3 spinning wheels, 2 electric wheels, and at least 30 spindles. Like I was hoarding like nothing else. But I was part of the Queensland Spinners and Weavers Guild, and I also would go to events and like shows and stuff and demonstrate spinning. So very, very much into it. And I have not done that for a couple of years, which has been a shame. I have lots of fleece to use, so and fibre that's already prepared for me. So with spindle spinning, now this is not really a tutorial. I think I feel a bit too rusty for that, to be honest. And I'm not going to edit out all the gaffes because I feel like that does no one any favors, because especially I don't know if my friend's going to be watching this at all, but starting out you drop it all the time and you break the wool, and all the time, like it's just constant bleh, oh, set it up, start again, block, meh. I'm just going to move this up so I can spin without hitting the camera. Okay, excuse the mess on my desk. Um, so what you've been watching me do while I've been yattering on is called pre-drafting the fibre. Now this is a beautiful fibre. This is not just merino. This is one of Charlie's special yarn blends. Where did I put the? Here it is. It's like Sea Sheep Adventure, North Ronaldsay sheep, silver infused seaweed silk, blue face Leicester, and cashmere. And so it's lovely. It just slides. So it actually might be a bit tricky to spin on a spindle. If you're a bit rusty and stuff. Sometimes it's better to have a bit of a sticky yarn is what I would call it. Hang on, I'm going to get some different. Okay. Now I've said this isn't a tutorial. It's kind of turning into one, but not officially. Okay. So that's very red. It's not as red in real life. So this is just plain merino wool that I used to buy in, was it a 10 kilo bump of merino wool. This one's a high numbered micron. I can't remember which way you say it's a high micron, because the higher the number, the less soft it is. The lower the number, the softer it is, the finer it is. So this is a 21 micron merino wool. And micron is the state of the fiber, being like the quality and the size of each strand, and it's an all-encompassing descriptor. So I've spun with a 16 micron merino. Oh, it was like velvet. It was so pretty and just so soft to spin. And this one is has a lower number than this one, and I don't know if you can see this is still soft. It's still lovely. It's still like, again, skin wearable, but you've just got levels of, no, you can't. That's a shame. I don't know if you can see the difference in the fiber. Probably not. It's a bit hard. We need feely vision. Anyway, so this is a lower one. This is I think this one's an 18 by the feel of it. This is, what did I say? It was 21 or 22. Yeah. So, this is one of Charlie's black wool. So these are wool tops. You can have combed or carded, and that's a different preparation. And so it's a whole rabbit hole to go into knowing what wool you're spinning, how to spin it, and what preparation. So you've got worsted and you've got wool preparation, not just it is wool, because it is wool, but there's also a wool preparation and a worsted preparation. Wool is lofty and like boofy, comparatively to worsted, which is like dense and has most of the air like pulled out of it when you're spinning. For beginners, I would recommend what I call a sticky yarn. So you see that's like, it's a little tiny bit grabby. It's not like Velcro grabby, but it, because this one is so sheer, it's like it'll be easy to just drop it all the time, because look how that just pulls out, and it will be easy to like lose your momentum if it's the first time you're spinning. So I would always recommend, see, it just takes a little bit more for it to pull apart, which gives you more time to finagle the spin, the draft, the pull, sort of thing, because you're doing a few things at once, and so it's good to have a yarn that just doesn't fly away. Once you get more experience, it's easy as pie to spin. You just, find a rhythm and you're there, sort of thing. But at the very beginning, I'd get a yarn that's a little bit sticky, which is standard wool. Merino wool is a really good one for starting, and have it coloured, because merino wool uncoloured is a lot slipperier. So if you've got some dye in there, it makes it a tiny bit sticky. Just give you some time for the pulling and drafting and spinning and all that kind of thing. And then I just went and grabbed a bunch of things. So I've got a whole, so this is a combination of, so you see this has got a sheen to it. So it's merino, but it's being heavily blended with mulberry silk, I believe. I could be wrong. So I have had this good few years. Was it Tencel? It might be Tencel actually. But you can see it's got a sheen to it, and it's a lot more soft and less sticky as well. You see that just pulls apart really easy. So yeah, so that's that. Don't know why I've just jumped into show and tell, and my original thought was, oh, I'm gonna get a spindle because I've been looking through my stuff because my friends started and it got me all nostalgic for spinning, and then and then I was like, oh well, I'll put the camera on and tell everyone what I'm doing, and now I'm telling you how to do it. Here's some fiber. This was on a drop spindle, and yeah, I don't know. That's just it's we had moths, which made me very sad. So throw a bunch of stuff out, and so the first few layers of this is a bit chomped on or whatever they do, but once you've been spinning long enough, that's probably one of my thicker threads. You can see that. And I've got a little skein here of other ones. I really like these colours together. And then I did this one on a Turkish spindle, which I love because it creates a little, and they call these turtles. So how you wind the yarn you're spinning onto a Turkish spindle, and then you take the little bits out and you get a turtle, and it can be double-ended as well. I don't think I kept the center pull out, but you can actually go from both ends or have it center pull. None of these ones here have been set. They're all just spun, but I haven't set them because you need to set your yarn to set the twist in. If I tried to work with this now, especially with it being fine, it would break a lot easier than it does after you set it. So I'll just put those to the side, and I know I did draft some of this sea sheep. I'm wondering if this is gonna, I'll give it a go. Like I said, I'm really rusty, and dust on me. Yeah, I'm really, really rusty with this. So, let's see how we do. So it's might, yeah, I think you can see that all right. Okay. Now I do have a distaff, but I haven't got it out of my spindle container. So I won't. It's best to try. I mean, you could break it off if you wanted to. It might be easier if you're brand new, just to start with really small clumps. But then you need to try and blend them together, back together again. So it might be a bit hard doing that. So I like pre-drafting little slithers so I don't have to do much drafting when I'm spinning. It just, for me, keeps the momentum going a lot more. And I'm going to just put that to the side. And then I'm going to spin a bit like this. You're probably thinking, what? You've got a spindle there. Use your spindle. I will. But this is so I can latch it onto the spindle because it needs to be connected. And you can't just connect fluff because it'll just pull away. So you got to spin it. Spin, 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 spin. It's not as effective as spindle spinning, but okay, it's just we need a length. I don't know how much. Now, there's different ways to connect your leader thread, and my favorite is with a half hitch. So it's kind of like a slip knot basically. So no, that is a slip knot. Oh, I've forgotten how to do a half hitch. I don't know how to do. Told you I was going to keep all the gaffs in because I've forgotten how to do a half hitch. I genuinely have forgotten. Oh, goodness me. I feel like I'm just doing a slip knot. I feel like half hitch was like some twisty thing like that. I genuinely can't remember. I have to look that up. Oh, then I'll lose my spinner's card. I am just going to do a slip knot and that'll suffice because the spinning police are not in Brisbane at the moment, so it will be fine. Why use a half hitch and not a slip knot is, what I was told in my lessons is that a slip knot by nature is slippy, and a half hitch you can actually anchor it a lot better. So I'm really faffing around with this. Not a good start, really, but that's all right. We can deal. Okay, now I'm about to destroy that. Put it too far down because it needs to go over the top. Okay, this is a very messy start to spinning. Spinning 101 by someone who's forgotten most of it. Oh dear. I can't believe I've forgotten how to do a half hitch. That shocks me to no end, to be honest. Okay. So just okay. So I'm just spinning, getting some twist into that so we can like hook it down. And it needs to be long enough to go all the way up the shaft and over the point. And you just spin up. See, that's why you got to try and keep your wool. I had it on the wrong side. There we go. Put it on this side. This is fun. Gosh, I haven't spun for so long. There we go. So I'm getting lots of spin in there. And that's hooked so you can see these little nubs. That's just all twist. So what I can see how it's just all like bling. So what I can do is actually pull this out a little bit and let the twist travel into that bit. and pull this out and let it travel into that bit. Okay. And so that's got a little bit caught there. And what I do, I know, oh, my other hand's out of shot. What I do when I've got this and I need to fiddle with it, I will do the figure eight, because this is kind of twisted into a bit of a, it's doubled up on itself a few times. So I'm just going to just gently untwist it if I can, just so it can. Oops, a little nubby there. I think that's there to stay, and it's the very beginning of the yarn, so it is okay. So now what I want to do, I'm going to pull that fluffy bit off. There you go. And then we want to wrap this around. But you've got to make sure when you're wrapping it around, you've still got enough to come up the shaft and spin. So what we are building down here is called a cop. And then make sure, and so there are so many, and like I said, I wasn't intending to do an actual proper tutorial. I'm just really scraping the surface of spinning information, because there's just so many different ways to go about making yarn on a spindle, and it's just a matter of patience and practice to get consistent spin. And like I said, I haven't done it for a couple of years, so I am quite rusty and I've forgotten terminology. I've forgotten how to do the half hitch. Like, I feel like it's there somewhere in my brain files, but I genuinely cannot remember the handwork to do it. And that's a medical issue. Like, I have proper medical memory problems, so yeah. So I'm just surprised because I would have thought something like that would have stayed in my brain because I've done it a million times, but apparently not. So what I'm doing is known as the park and draw method. No, park. Yeah, that's right, park and draw method. So in this area, I'm going to move it to the side a bit. This area, I'm putting a lot of spin in. Then I'll pinch that, pull this undrafted part out, and then let the spin travel into that, and then wind it onto my spindle. And I can add some more if it's not quite enough. So it's just a matter of that. And once you've got your base cop kind of really secure and falling over, you can do temporary cops up the top, so you don't have to always keep going unraveling the whole thing down to the bottom. You can just go like this and just throw a cop in there, and then when that gets big, then you can unwind it and put it down the bottom, and it just makes just keeps your momentum going. You don't have to keep stopping, and because your arms are only so long. Well, mine aren't long at all, but you can only do so much with your arm span before you're like, oh no, I've run out of arm span to pull my wool out. So I'll pull it down there and it's got a bit of spin. And how much, whoops, see, how much twist goes into it depends on what you want to do with it. So if for example, you know you want to keep this as single, then you don't need to put a ton of twist into it. Like that's just, you see how soft that's plied on itself. I would put a little bit more twist in it if you wanted to ply it, because when you ply, you go the other way. So, and when you're starting out as well, pick a direction, clockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever. I always go clockwise to spin, and just all your first spins just always go the same way. So then if you do decide to ply later, which you can, even if it doesn't have quite enough spin in it, it'll just be a loose ply. You can do it if you swap and change which way you go all the time. Then you won't be able to, and you might not remember unless you write it down. But it's just good practice to just be super consistent in your direction, and your speed and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. So yeah, so with plying and not plying, if you're just leaving it as a single, it doesn't need to have as much spin in it. If you are going to do things like, yeah, I've forgotten the terminology again. Oh, what's the little beehive things? What's that called? Okay, anyway, there's some other spin methods where you have to put a lot of spin in to do. It's like the art yarn, fancy stuff. So you have to make sure you've got plenty of spin in before, or twist. I'm saying spin, it's supposed to be twist. Plenty of twist in before you start making your art yarn, or not. If you just want to leave it as is, it doesn't need as much. So, see, yeah, drop it. So you see how I've built some up in that. Now I would actually normally build that up to, it was like big lump, and then I just gently do figure eights like so, pulling it off and just holding down here because you don't want to pull off down the bottom cop, and then you just twist. And how I do it, so it could become a center pull ball if you wanted it to, is I just feed it up to the top of the line of thread, and then down to the bottom, and then up to the top, and then down to the bottom. There's Mandalorian sound going in the background. That would be my alarm. Just turn that off. Okay. And so just twisting, go down and then go up, and it stops it from tangling in on itself for the most part. Of course, yarn will always tangle if it really wants to. And that's how you do it. Now I know I haven't really covered spinning properly. It's a massive subject. And you know, it's a bit like if I were to do tutorials on it, I would have to you know, do it in stages. But for this one, it's just like have a spindle, work out whether you want to do a single or you want to end up plying this, so you know how much twist to put in. And then I would start, you might, everyone's different, but from most of the beginners I've seen have been comfortable starting with the park and draft method. So, or draft and park. I can't remember which way it goes. But so that is where you're like spinning, putting twist into this area. You keep your fingers pinched in there, and then you pull out your fluffy fluff, and then you let the twist go into that area, and see it just instantly becomes like yarn because it's got the twist travels. The twist can actually travel. So and remember, like, if you knew, probably not a good idea to use a really soft and slippery fiber. It's a good idea to use something that's been colored and is a little bit sticky on itself. And it is just a matter of like this area in between my fingers is what determines how thick or thin, or the grist, the actual yarn will be. So if I just left it go like that, then that's how thick it would be. But I tend to pull it fine, and different spindles will be really good for different weight yarns as well. So a spindle like this is obviously really good for a nice fine yarn. I've got a really small little Deligan spindle, which is a Scottish spindle, and I can get, because it's quite small, it's like yay big, and I can get like spider web barely, but it still has the strength because it is still has the twist in it, but it can go so fine on that little thing. And the good thing with a supported spindle too is that you're not like, for a beginner it might be good because you're not like balancing all the weight of the spindle and what you've spun onto what you're holding. So it kind of takes that pressure off, making sure it's like doesn't break. Because I think that's the biggest thing is this area here is just breaking and pulling apart because you like draft it too thin or you go too fast and it pulls away from you, all those kind of things. So support spindle is good for that. It's also good when like here I am now sat at my desk, so I could be, watching a show or listening to a word book or something. And if I'm sat at my desk, it's easier for me to use a support spindle than a drop spindle. I love both, and I have different spindles from different cultures as well. I really do need to do a show and tell video of my different spindles because I have some really interesting ones. And yeah, so but the drop spindle and the sport spindle are kind of the main two mainstays, I guess. Depends on the culture, it really does. Each culture has their own way of creating textiles, as any crafters can tell you. So it is it really depends on what culture you're in, or looking at whatever. But for me, the two mainstays are drop and supported, and I probably use them equally because different they like the I have a drop spindle that is similar weight and everything, can produce pretty much the exact type of yarn, and that is also handy when you want to do a 2-ply, because then you can load this one up, load the other one up, and then, you know, I have, well, I did cull some, so I don't have 30 spindles anymore, or you can use a spinning wheel or whatever, but then you can just ply them straight from the spindle. Drop spindle is really good. Oh, what was my point going to be? There's something about drop spindle I want to say that was an advantage. Oh, I can't remember now. It's gone. Oh, it's gone. It might come back once I've uploaded the video. But basically, support spindle or drop spindle will make great yarn, and, well, any kind of spindle. It's a lovely skill to have, and it once you've got past the I remembered my point, is a drop spindle is much easier to have continuous momentum of spinning and drafting, where with a support spindle it is, I personally, I mean, others might find it not true or the opposite or whatever, but I genuinely find that I'm stopping a lot more with a support spindle, and because everything is kind of like in, where with a drop spindle you kind of let it go down to the floor and just wind it up and let it go down, and you can, yeah, I mean, both have great merits. So if you're able to, and like I see there's, you can buy handcrafted ones. These are not cheap and nasty. This was a few years ago, like 4 years ago, something, maybe, I don't know. And it was handcrafted, and it cost $130. So which has got turquoise inlay. It is handcrafted from like Peruvian and red gum wood. So, and the bowl was 90. So, these are not just your cheap, like, whatevers. Absolutely worth it though. And I invested quite a bit in Paul's handmade spindles, because they're beautiful, and they're beautiful to work with. Really are beautiful. I have a spindle that I made from a chopstick and a CD, and that works. It works. It makes yarn, but the flow, it's like having the difference between having a really nice sharp needle and one that's like dull a bit, and you have to sew it. If for any sewers who can get that analogy, or just like, yeah, quality products. So, if you, but I didn't start with these nice ones. I didn't get the nice ones until I was like years into spinning, and then I was like, oh, I can buy really nice ones, because I'd been making mine from little just circle whirls, lumps of clay, which is very Viking-ish, and chopsticks, and even 3D printed a whirl and put it on a chopstick. Chopsticks are great. And they work. So you can literally spend nothing on a spindle and just whack one together yourself. Or you can invest and also support little home run businesses if you have the money. There's no pressure to get the best of everything. I mean, again, I bought this when hubby and I were both working. I'm not working anymore because of medical stuff, so there's no way I would be able to buy this now. I wouldn't be able to justify spending this much money on a tool for my craft. So, but that's all right. I managed to buy some lovely ones before I couldn't work, so I'm still pretty happy with that. But yep, there we go. Dropping. Even the support spindle gets dropped. And definitely, if you are doing this over a floor or something, you're just starting, have a mat down so you don't break your spindle. Or if you're on carpet, that'll be fine. We just have tiles in our house, which are very unforgiving. And just keep spinning. So flick. Did I go over? I don't think I went over that. Flick. So it's like a motion. So flick like that. I need to unwind some of this. So again, I just do this. See how easy it is. And I still have, I'm not exactly sure where it is, might be in my cupboard, but I do have still kept my very first piece of spun yarn, and it is, it's something, it's for sure. No consistency whatsoever, and like honestly, who would expect that anyway? So it's just about being consistent with taking time to spin, and your brain needs to work out what this hand's doing, what that hand's doing, pressure, timing, all that kind of stuff. And then, like, I guarantee you, one day it'll just click and you'll be like, right, and it'll just be, you just go, and then you keep going, you see. And because I'm really rusty, because I've not done this for years, and look how consistent that is for someone who's really rusty. So yeah, I just I just realized my yarn matches my spindle. You probably saw that a lot earlier than I did. So yeah, that's just my little foray into spinning, and my little thanks for coming to my TED Talk about Spinning 101, which I'm probably sure I left out gaps of information. But if anyone wants to know more, feel free to ask questions. And yeah, any questions in the comments, I'll be happy to answer anything. Or if you want to see other things, let me know. This was fun. I might do some more type of spinning. If anyone wants to see it, that would be great. But yeah, so I'm just going to push that down, and I'm just going to wind it to, so all the spun yarn I will keep, and then this is just how I do it. I don't know if there's other ways to do it. I just loosely put the stuff up the top away so it doesn't get tangled in of itself. So yeah, that's my little spinning foray. I'll probably keep spinning, but you don't need to stay with me, because I think I've prattled on about spinning to you enough for this video. But I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have supported my channel in any way whatsoever, thank you so much. It's very much appreciated, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night or morning or afternoon, whatever time you are in the world, and take care. Big love. Mwah. Bye. Hello. I know I just said goodbye like a second ago, but would you believe it? As you know, as soon as I stopped recording, I remembered how to do a half hitch. Now, with half hitches, you don't really need to do them on a support spindle. In fact, you probably shouldn't, because your spinning comes off the top here. So that's, you want that doing there. Now, when I was talking about half hitch, can't remember if I said that it was for a drop spindle or a non-supported spindle, because you want it to be locked. So, I mean, if you just try to pick that up, all the yarn just comes off. So what we want to do, so if you're using this as a drop spindle, so you're spinning it up in the air, you need to do a half hitch, which is you wrap your thumb around the yarn and you put over your spindle. That's like that. So, and it's usually a good idea to do two that are about a quarter of an inch apart, and that just gives you if you're a knitter, that probably looks like two cast on stitches. So, and then see, you can suspend it without just unraveling all the yarn. So I just thought, I'm like, oh, I turned off the camera and moved away, and then I'm like, oh, I remember what that was. So I thought I'd just jump back on, just a little PS. I remembered how to do the half hitch, and if, yeah, like I said earlier, if there's any questions or if there's any videos you want about spinning, gosh, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do spinning videos. It's been so long since I've done spinning. I'm thoroughly enjoying picking it up again. And if you're like a slow stitch or a textile artist, using Handspun is just the best in your work. Yeah, it's really lovely to see something you've created just there with something else you created, just like marrying up the two hobbies. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just rambling now and just happy spinning. But anyway, so that's it. That's just the little PS. Showed you how to do a half hitch. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to know about spinning, wheel spinning, electric spinning, spindle spinning, different types of spindles, different type of yarn, yeah, drop the questions below, and if I don't know, I will find out for you. So yeah, so that's it. Okay, take care. Bye.